We are back with our Runner 172 project, and today's video should be a big one. It will be the first start on our fresh Runner engine here. Last time we came in here, we finally got this thing in the frame. We got basically everything set up now, pretty much ready to start. We have our radiator sitting in here now, our fan back on there, everything is cleaned up. We have our little ignition cover over here. We also painted that black just to kind of match. We have our water neck and the bracket and everything that goes inside of there all set up, and then the wiring that comes out of our ignition itself. So everything is kind of set up right now in the most roller form you could be, besides having a wire harness on here. We don't have our gas tank, and we need a few other things, but that's what we're here to do today. Have you ever been out riding and realized your bike might have a flat tire? Well, I realized this the other day when I took it out to the spot and I was stranded out there. I rode it anyways, and I ate These are too much. Well, thank you to the sponsor of today's video, ETENWOLF. We're able to have a pocket-sized air pump where we can easily carry something like this in our pocket when we go ride. This mini brushless bicycle pump is incredibly compact and lightweight, fitting easily in your palm of your hand or a bike bag without adding any bulk. This pump comes with a digital display and minimal buttons, so it doesn't get confusing at all when you're using this. Included in this package is a bunch of Presta valves, Schrader valves, and all the other valves that you could possibly need to pump up anything you need on the go. In this kit also comes a traveling pouch, so you can easily throw all this into one pouch, carry it in your bag when you are riding. A multi-use tool, a very sleek design, and a very convenient 360 hose. What more can you ask for on a bicycle pump? Well, now when we're riding, there's no excuse not to be able to carry something this small in our pocket or in our backpack and be able to fix an issue like this when we're on the side of the road, whether it needs a patch or whether it just went low. So just like this, go ahead and raise our PSI level 35, and this gives it an auto shut off. So right when it hits that 35 PSI, it will shut off automatically. We got our Schrader valve on here right now. Clamp that down. You click the one button. Believe it or not, this miniature lightweight pump can actually pump up to 150 PSI. That is pretty insane on this little thing. There's our auto shut off at 35 PSI. Perfect. And now thanks to ETENWOLF, we can throw that back in our pocket and we'll be able to continue riding wherever we are. This is one of those things you may not think you need right now, but you'll be a whole lot happier when you buy this. And there comes a time where you're stranded and you do need this. Not only was ETENWOLF nice enough to send out this pump to us and sponsor today's video, but they also sent out another one for you guys. All you have to do is go down to the comment section below in this video, click the hype button, and leave a comment, and we're gonna be choosing a random comment from this video to send out this bicycle pump to. Thank you, ETENWOLF, for sponsoring today's video, and make sure you go down to the description to check them out. In the last video, we dropped off our kicker case to be polished, and we just picked that up from polishing, so this is probably going to be the last polished part that we're putting on this bike. Looks sick, but that's pretty much how she's going to look. Ooh, that's going to pop. We have to put our rolling nut bearing and all the kicker guts back in this thing, so we got some work to do to it. As you can tell, it's just a bare shell right now, and as the plans are to start this thing today, we're going to have a lot of work cut out for us. We have to go through our wiring harness here, clean this thing up a ton because it's filthy, and I want to make sure there's no split ends of wires in here. There's a lot of exposed spots. We have a little Toranda cover that I believe goes on the front right there. Not bad. They also sent out this one, which went on the front of the engine case somewhere. And then somewhere in here, we have our side cover bearing for our kicker case. This for the fuel tank. That is a must-have, I guess. The only thing I forgot to actually order was a throttle cable. So I'm hoping that we can make something work with this S23 cable I have here. And due to the stock throttle housing not having enough travel when you actually twist the throttle, we're going to be upgrading to this NCY one. But I know this throttle is actually certain to work with our huge carb down there. So all of our kicker guts here to reassemble here. This is everything we need to clean up and get back into our kicker case. We're also going to need to mount this gas tank up if we plan on starting this thing. We have a NCY throttle on there now. That is all set up to the carburetor now. I wanted to make sure we had a throttle cable that would work, that was laying around, and we did. We might throw a 90 on it. We'll see once we get the seat on there, because we're gonna have to trim out the seat anyways for our big carbs. So, but for now, for testing purposes, we know it's smooth, nothing is binding, and we'll be able to use that to start the bike here. We put our radiator in, as you saw, and now it is time to run some coolant lines. With that being said, we have some coolant line right here. Some nice coolant line that actually runs a steel spring through the inside just to prevent it from ever like collapsing on you, etc. we're going to be running this, and obviously this is not a pre-bent line, so what we're going to do is kind of get it sized right, and then we're going to take a heat gun and kind of form this. Once it gets hot a couple times on the bike and you have it bent correctly, it'll kind of form itself, but we're definitely going to have to work with it to get it right. So we went ahead and started cutting down our hose to the exact length we needed, grabbed a bunch of the hose clamps because we're going to need a ton of these for all the points of this plumbing that we're going to be doing on this bike right now. So we're forming everything, like I said, using the heat gun. You're using the heat gun about 400 degrees, and then the coolant itself runs about 200 degrees. So it's kind of going to be at its hottest point when you do form this. So once you form it now, it'll kind of forever just stay in that mold. We also got back to work on our kicker cover because once we got that thing back and polished, we had to reassemble everything. And let me tell you boys, this thing was a pain in the ass to do. Nonetheless, we got it, and we got everything greased up, reassembled, and cleaned, and now it is ready to go. All right, boys, this is what our fresh polished kicker cover looks like now. We got our fresh rolling nut bearing in there, the Tronda air duct here for the CVT cover itself. We have all our goodies in there, re-greased, all fresh in there. And as you can tell here, we now have all our coolant lines ran. So we kind of have them all zip tied in right now, just helping them form to the right angles, but that is what we're looking like. So we got this one, and then we got this one kind of like snaking across. We're getting it all set up, so then we can slide the gas tank in, and then we can kind of figure everything else out from there, but we're looking good so far, boys. Well, as you know, our goal is to get this bike running today, so we can't do that without getting a gas tank in here. So we started assembling our gas tank and the reservoir. We're changing this petcock out to a manual petcock. This is our big 6mm petcock here, a lot bigger than the stock one. And of course it is a Pro Flow because it has the manual petcock, so we're not using just the intake to pull this part. Once the fuel gets to this reservoir, it is going to be dumping straight into our filter, then into our carb, exactly how we want it, so we don't have to worry about any fuel cut. All right, here is where we currently stand on the runner. So as you can tell, it looks a lot more like a complete bike right now. Coolant reservoir up here, we have the gas tank mounted in. We also have our gas tank reservoir, I guess you could say. This is pretty much where all the fuel from the tank gets pumped into, and then that goes to the carb from there. So we have new fuel line all around this thing. As you saw, we added that manual petcock in there, and then over here we have a Polini fuel filter as well. So inline filter, we had that filter in there as well. This is how it was set up stock with the dual filter setup, so we're pretty much going to that. We have all our coolant lines ran, as you saw, going to the radiator, and now the radiator is fully plumbed. Fuel lines fully plumbed, coolant lines all there, and our throttle cable, as you can tell, is now hooked up. And you'll see that we have our kicker case now on there. So our polished kicker case, our Tronda front load duct here, and all these bits now sitting on here, nice and pretty. So looks super good. Big old carburetor sitting out of there, and as you can see, all our PM tuning goodies over there. Everything's looking mighty fine on the bike. Now it becomes the fun part. So over here, we have our complete wire harness. Now, we're going to be roughly kind of just dusting this thing off and cleaning it up as I run it through the bike and string it through and try to get everything exactly how it was OEM. Once the wire harness is all ran through the bike, we have everything else plumbed, it'll be time to finally try to kick this thing over. See what happens, boys. Well, the last thing we had to do was finish snaking this harness through this bike, and let me tell you, this thing is a handful. There's so many plugs on this thing. It is kind of like an engine harness for a car. I should have done this before I put the fuel tank in, but nonetheless, we got it all sorted and got everything plugged in which we needed and figured out how to run this harness. And it is all coming along very, very nicely. It is now time to see if we get spark and see if we can fire this bike up today. All right, boys, without further ado, the runner. It is fully wired up right now. We have the battery in here kind of just gently strapped up just for starting purposes. It doesn't even work anyways. The starter is not working still. We put a new starter in it. I'm assuming now is definitely probably the relay. Everything else is plugged in now, and we have power to some of our gauges and everything up here. So we're looking pretty good on everything. Basically what I want to do right now is test if we're getting spark before we run to the gas station, fuel up and get some gas. I just want to make sure that we have everything set up right for wiring wise. So we have spark. It is finally time to fire up the runner. Let's run to the gas station, get some fresh premix going for this thing. See what happens. See what happens. Oh man, we didn't hook up all. We have one more line to run for the coolant setup here, but I just want to hear it fire up, and then we'll add some coolant and everything. So Oh boys, this is crazy. This is crazy. It is startup time. We have some Klotz Super Technoplate here. Gonna go ahead and make us some premix. Go from there. This stuff smells good too. Get some premix going. We're gonna need a funnel to get to this gas tank on this thing. Oh, no. We got the funnel thing with this fancy gas tank, bro. A lot of things still need to be finalized on the bike, but this is a very important step right here to see if she's gonna fire. Thing's slow as and then we're gonna see if we can't manually get some fuel going. All right, so we had to manually put some fuel into our reservoir here so then it can go into our car. So as you can see down here, we have some fuel in our filter now. It was kind of a pain in the ass to get this intake to get the fuel up to here. I didn't have anything to pull it through, so we ended up popping this line off and then pouring fuel with the funnel down into this reservoir. Hopefully that made it to the carburetor. There's only one way to find out. Let's see what happens. We have spark. Let's see if we have fuel. This thing is a pain in the ass to kick over. I was really hoping the electric start was gonna work for us, but something fried on our electric start. And it's not the battery, apparently. So let's see what happens. It wants to fire. You heard that? You heard that? All right, let's see. Battery's falling off already on us. Oh my gosh. Can you believe it finally started? Bro. It's so quiet actually right now. I don't even want to give it anything. We're gonna let this baby idle. Try to let her idle a little bit. Not gonna rev it. We're leaking fuel like crazy though. That split in the line definitely needs to be repaired. Okay. Man, it runs though. Damn, dude. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna see what happens when we fill up some coolant. See if we do have any coolant leaks or anything. Gotta start going through the lines down there. Oh, we have a coolant leak. The bleed screw is not tightened. All right, let's see what happens round 2 now. See if we can't get some of this coolant pumped through it. Got the battery kind of just sitting on the tire. It is what it is. Oh my gosh, boys. It's barely warm right now. We're getting about 100 degrees, so I'm gonna go ahead and kill it, but we're gonna have to bleed our coolant system, obviously, so we're gonna do that real quick. But it's running good, boys. It sounds perfect. I just bled the coolant system, but we're probably gonna bleed it again. We're letting it get warm again. It's our third fire up now. It's coolant going through the whole system. Obviously, until we prop it, it's not really gonna kind of push it that much. It's kind of just going off the idle right now, so. But once you kind of get it a little, you're seeing it move. I don't want to rev it too much, boys. I'm so excited though. Can you believe the runner is finally running? It's running, boys. Well, the runner is finally running. I actually started up about 4 times now, got it to temp and let it cool down. So we're getting some heat cycles in on our fresh PM tuning engine here. We're not gonna be riding this thing in this video. We're gonna save that for next time when we go ahead and do a full break-in process on this bike. And there's a lot of breaking in to do to make sure we don't harm this engine, this very, very expensive engine here. And before we did fire it up, we did make sure to wipe down the exhaust of all our fingerprints. And then we coated this thing in WD-40 to prevent this exhaust from rusting, because we're gonna keep this thing raw. We've been pretty good about keeping our other exhaust oiled up and everything, keeping those fresh. So hoping to do the same for this thing, but the runner sounds pretty nasty. I barely gave it anything because I really wanna be delicate with it right now. 172 engine has a specific deep sound to it, and it sounds gnarly. I can't wait to actually crack the throttle on this thing and hear this thing. With all our fuel lines, cooling lines, having everything plumbed now, all the wiring set up, the rest of the bike is pretty much the fun part. It's just gonna be making this thing look pretty and dialing this thing in. In the next video, we will be doing some riding after I do some break-in on my own, because I don't wanna film just me riding around for hours and hours. We're gonna put a lot of miles on this, probably about 200 miles before we really get beating on this bike. For those of you who are curious, I went through the other day and added up more to our list with obviously the polish of the kicker cover and a few other bits that we bought recently. We're looking at right under $9,000 for the runner now. $8,700 is the total cost of the runner. So she is getting very expensive, but she is almost done. Now it is time to lock in the exact color we want to go with for paint. So I think I got my idea up here. I still want to see in the comments what you guys suggest we should do for the color wise. I'm just glad that we got all the little complicated pieces figured out that I wanted to make sure we did right with the fuel lines, making sure we got the 6mm to 8mm over here. We got the big fuel line over here going to the carb to match everything on the carb. Everything so far seems pretty happy with the runner, so I am very, very stoked on that. On the agenda for next time, we need to finish up getting our front brake ran. We need the new front brake line. We need to make sure our seat bucket is cut out and or everything is modified to fit our big carb and our big intake down there. And we need to go ahead and ball out and order ourselves the beefy shock, because I want to put our new shock in before we assemble any more of this bike, just to make it easier on us. And in the meantime, we're going to get these things prepped for paint. So we have a lot to do, but this is the first video on the runner for 2026, and the bike is already running. So we're off to a good start this year, boys. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video if you're stoked to finally see the runner running, and I'll see you guys in the next video.